click the Envimet icon, bring the tab, open the fourth one for Leonardo, set this one aside, and this is the Leonardo to give you the visual maps. You need to go to the third one, which is the Tools, Data Navigator, and this is the window. Press on this folder to be able to get the file from the Envimet output, atmosphere. Click the third timing, removing the first 2 hours, because the first 2 hours the results are not reliable, are not accurate. Press OK, and then what you should do is that you should pick the wind speed, put it for the contour. You just click on this arrow, the POT temperature for the data. Raise your cut level to 2 so that you're not cutting on the ground level, and then extract to D. Now you have the visual map. You need to press on the contour and the special layer and the vector, maybe, if you want. You scroll to zoom in and zoom out in your map. Now you need to modify your 2D settings, so you click here, and then this is what you get, this window. You just pick the Envimet defaults and you click apply, and here it changes the colors. You need to change also the arrows, so that only for the visual, this arrow maybe is not oriented to the arrow in the Envimet file, so you need to change it from here based on the angle that you've set earlier in your Envimet file. And after you change it, you just click apply. You repeat this process for all the files, so you just go again here and pick, we've picked I think 9 o'clock, so you pick 10 o'clock and so on. You do and then you save the map. How do you save the map? File, copy map to clipboard, and then you need to open a Photoshop and you paste it inside the Photoshop, so you're able to save it as JPEG from the beginning, because you can save it as a JPEG from here, and instead of saving it into other format and change it again into JPEG, so it's lighter and you can just edit it wherever you want. So it's better to open a Photoshop file and you just copy it to clipboard and paste it there and save it. Copy, paste, and save, and so on for the whole files. This is for the Leonardo part. From the Envimet, you open the fifth one, so you get this window. You pick the folder. You pick the folder from the output files again, the atmosphere, and you pick 9 o'clock. It's the same location like the Leonardo. You open it. You raise your cut level and 2 to fit to match the Leonardo. You pick the wind speed, and then you untick this one. You choose your location. You can save it anywhere. Those folders doesn't need to be in the Envimet folder anymore. So for example, you choose to be on the desktop. I suggest you name the file as follows. So you call it, for example, final, no vegetation at 9 wind, and then you put save. After you do that, the file is not there until you click make file. So here comes the file, and then you change the wind and you choose the POT temperature. You change the name of the file and you name it temp, and then you put save. You do make file. You always need to click make file so that the file appears here. So you should have a folder with 9 o'clock wind and temperature, 10 o'clock wind and temperature, and so on. After you're done, you should have a folder with the name of the file at 9, at 10, and so on, dot data, with all the timings. This is another project. What you should do is that you should open the Excel, and then open, and you pick the files we created on the desktop. What you need to do is that you need to change this one to all files. And now you can see the final no veg at 9, temperature, open. You click next, next, finish. It will open the file. You go to the next one, open, and then you pick the wind, open, next, next, finish. So now you have two files opened, one for wind and one for temperature. So we need to make them as one file. So you press here, you Control C, and you go to the other file and paste it in there. So you have one file with the grids, temperature, and wind. Then you need to insert in the fifth column an equation. I just copy that equation from my file, which is this one. I will send you the equation written. I'll take it Control C and go to that file, Control V. And then that equation is to correct the errors or the zeros in the numbers, because as you see here, there are some numbers with zeros before it. And if you paste it, you just click on, first you drag it, so it does the same thing. It will correct the wind, and accordingly will correct wind and the temperature, and then you click on this part, so it will just do the same for the whole column. What you need to do is that you need to filter your results, so select all that's a typical Excel thing. Select all and then sort ascending. No. Control Z. You need to select the whole columns, go to data, filter, auto filter, and then you go to data, sort, and you sort them all ascending. I've done that one. You go to the first column. As you see, you have to have here zeros, so all the numbers that are negligible are at the top. Scroll down and focus on column E. Scroll all the column down until the zeros disappear. Okay, maybe we can do it a bit faster. Okay. And here is the change. From this cell, it's dominant that from this cell, the number starts to make sense. You remember this cell number, which is 2560. You click here, double click, you go to the last one, and then we need to put the average. Equals, and then you type the word average. You open a bracket, and then you put the cell number 2560, column, until cell number 20401, which is this one, the last one. So you need to get the averages. That's a typical Excel thing. You need to get the average of all those. By now you will have a folder full of Excel files, each at a certain time, 9, 10, 11, 12, and so on. And now you need to open a new blank Excel sheet. You need to type in here the timings that you use. So 9 and then 10 and then 11 and 12 and so on. And here you need to put your temperature, temp, and wind to be able to insert the data. Now you'll have a file that looks just like this one. Time, 9, 10, 11, 12, and so on, and then you have the temperature and the wind. For this scenario, which is the no vegetation one, you created a file that gives you the average temperature at 9 o'clock is this, and the wind was this value. How do you get in the data at this cell? Is that you will click here, you put the equal, and you should have your file opened, which is at 9 o'clock. You open it for the temperature. You open the file at 9 o'clock and at 10 and it's 11 at all the files, and you put equal. You just click the average temperature and it will just copy it here to this part and so on. Here accordingly you put equal wind, and then you go to the file and the last cell which we created as the average, you just click on that cell, it will automatically update it here. So you will have a file that looks just like this one, and then if you want to get an average for all the times for this scenario, an average temperature, you just click, here you put equal and you type the word average, open a bracket again between cell 2 and cell 15, and you just close bracket. Oops. See, it gets you. Now you should have a folder that has all the Excel files with all the timings. You need to open a new blank Excel sheet, new, and then you type here 9 o'clock, and then 10 o'clock, and then 11, and so on. Here you put temperature, average temperature, and here you put average wind. You need to insert those data. So you need 9 o'clock to open the Excel sheet. Now you will go to file. Here you put equal, and then you shift to the file and you go to the last cell, which was the average temperature. You click on it and you just put enter. It will automatically shift that value to here. So if you change that value in the other file, it will link it again, update it again here. You do that for 10, 11, and the wind, equal. You open the same file, and that was the wind, and you put enter and it will bring it here. So you will have a file that looks just like this one with the average temperature and the average wind. To be able to get the average of all those averages, again you go here and you type the word average, you put letter B to refer to column B, and you put cell 2 to cell 15. Give me the average of column B from cell 2 to cell 15, and it will give you this value. And the same thing for the wind, cell this and this. I usually sometimes refer to the minimum and maximum, but you don't need to do that. So now you have the summary. For this one, you can create a graph, of course, from Excel, and that's a typical Excel thing. By now you have the results of the numerical data, and accordingly you can compare your two scenarios with the average temperatures, and you have valid results.